always take them off anyway. But we have to, see where we put these things. Good morning. Welcome. All right. So, hi everybody. Still a little bit out of sorts after yesterday. Wife has a bug, so hopefully it wasn't the beginning stages of that. Let's see who is all here. Baldwin, hello. Not most days. More like a rainy gray cloud or something. Blue Rose, hello. Hello, 420 Witch. How are you doing? Speaking of, actually. Let's see here. Dragons. Blue Rose, hello. Majestine, don't think we've seen you around before unless you were an old-time viewer and changed your name. So if not, welcome. Jocelyn, hello again. Alicia, gotcha. Hi, how you doing? Starry Girl, hello. And we're going to ask, how's it going? How are we doing on our plan there? We will ask you every month just to remind you. Kate, welcome. 420 Witch, yep, hello again. Oxymoron, hey, good to see you guys. Welcome to our new studio, actually. If you want to call it a studio, it's new studio being the room that our son used to inhabit. But before we really get started, I can take you on a quick tour. You might have noticed there's a few things different on the wall behind us. Let's go ahead and pull that back so you can see what's what. So this is our main wall now. We don't have all the candles lit up because obviously it's daytime. It's much nicer here because the windows are actually facing head on instead of sideways. So hopefully we shouldn't get those weird shadows. But there's that. And we'll just go ahead and pan around here. And you can see we've got a green screen, and there is the little story stuff waiting to be assembled. And so that's it. Just basically took his room, and over the course of the past several weeks I've been turning it into our new recordy, live streamy, filming space, because we used to be in the bedroom, and it would be difficult whenever our wife would have to say, go to the bathroom when we're live streaming or something like that. So welcome to the new digs, as it were. Hope you guys like them. We're not just, anyway, here it is. New knickknacks, new spread out and everything. So yeah, yay for that. A lot of work, though. We hate painting, and we had to repaint this whole room. Actually, we had to do it twice, but that's another story in and of itself that we haven't filled you guys in on, and exactly how we ended up getting this room. So let's check in before we start to ramble anymore here. And wake and bake, excuse us. Our longtime viewers know this is medicinal. The rest of you, ooh, hey, cool dude smokes. Yeah, well, it's legal where we live anyway, so. Seriously, we probably couldn't be as mobile as we are without it. And plus it does so psychologically as well. Okay, so let's see what the chat has to say here. And who else popped in? Starry Girl, if only we hadn't updated. It's been rough trying to get out of our current job and get a new one. Yeah. No, I mean, don't get us wrong. We're not pushing you to, do this or be on a time schedule or anything. Just, we care and we just want to know how you're doing. So, and just keep plugging at it. It takes a while. E. White, hello. Currently at work, so I may not be active today. Naughty. No, just teasing. Yes, it's a kitty. Yes, that is Colby Cat. He's currently sleeping on the grass of the safe space. Let's see here. Kitty, tell the story, Chris. Good morning, Roses. on that. Our Instagram has been completely foobar lately. We're not getting any of our notifications or pop-ups or anything. So if we haven't answered you back, that's why. So I don't know. Instagram is whack. Little Threat, hello. Just woke up and this is starting. Hey y'all. Um, yeah, Little Threat. How's your brother doing? Everything still going good there? Improvement, hopefully. Just let us know if you're comfortable with that. Stargirl swear everyone seems to be hiring, but no one will take us. Yeah, it's kind of weird here too. Um, it's like virtually everybody is hiring around here, but school just let out. So of course we've got all the high school kids who are taking jobs, over the summer and whatnot. But and some people who aren't. Um, Roses wants me to tell that story. You don't even know all of the details, Roses. So now let's see. Kate Colby Cat Hims has a safe place like you. Yep, absolutely. If we do have any littles in the chat today, or anyone who, if the littles decide to front, please let us know, because otherwise we will absolutely assume that everyone watching is an adult. Okay, and if you as a system decide to let the little sit in, please be aware we discuss serious things here, so we expect you to practice viewer discretion. All right, with that said, we don't have quite enough to go over the rules yet, but most of you guys know them all anyway. So, okay, while we're waiting for more people, yes, we will tell you exactly how we got this room. Technically, we got this room twice, but that's part of the story. Okay, TLDR. Our longtime viewers will remember the impromptu live stream that we did called Is This Pride? And where we told you about our son, the youngest son, our son, graduating from high school, and how proud we were about that, and how we were, getting mixed emotions and everything. And God, how much to go into? Long, like I said, TLDR. He got out, and a couple weeks he went ahead and started looking for a job. Got one at Walmart. Our other son works there and has for quite some time. Walmart has a way of sucking people in. But it's not a bad place to work either. So not the worst, not the best. But anyway, he hasn't seemed to have grasped the concept that work requires you to go in every day. And if you're going to be absent or call in, you need to do so, not after the fact. And you need to stay on top of this. And there's a lot going on with him. He's had difficulties. He's on the high functioning end of the autism spectrum. So there's definitely some issues there. Plus there's some psychological issues from the death of our first wife, because he was all of 7 when that happened, and it was a very prolonged medical decline. And unfortunately, and due to personal preference, we kept them we didn't try to hide it from them or anything. We pretty much kept them involved in what was going on. So yeah, it was a shock. He lost his mother early, but he's skated by his entire life. He has been handed opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and never really had to pay the consequences of his action, and learn the fact that sometimes you just got to do shit whether you like it or not, and that there are consequences, real life consequences to your actions. And I can trace back exactly where in the family this whole thing started from. Just put it down to overindulgent grandmother. Regardless, well, he got fired from Walmart, and went as in we were out looking around and found the now hiring flyer over at the Goodwill, and dragged his happy little butt over there one day because he wasn't doing a damn thing. He would much prefer to sit on his ass and play video games all day. And while that's fine, you need to be able to pay for the privilege to have a house to play said video games in. And now this may sound a little harsh, but the rules that our wife and we set up was basically this. You're always welcome in the house. You can live in the house as long as A, you're going to school, or B, working and contributing to the house as a whole. That's basically it. Either you're in school, or college included, or you're working and you're helping out. Playtime and the free ride, as it were, is over. You're 18, and plus there was the fact that about 3 days after his 18th birthday, he just decided to up and cut bait and run over to Grandma's house, who had promised him everything in the world and under the sun, and didn't even bother to wake us up to say goodbye. So yeah, there's a little bit of a bad taste in our mouth because of that, particularly Bootstraps, who is not happy. So he got the job at Goodwill full time. We're like, yay, okay, he'll start working in and we'll go at it. Well, literally the next day, he asks for another position in another Walmart across the city, but instead of full time, or well, not Walmart, at Goodwill, he drops it down to part time. And it's just a repeated pattern. And he screwed around and had no call, no shows, and how Walmart just didn't fire him for this to begin with. But Goodwill sure did. So he has been unemployed and not looking for work in this room, which, trust us, is a far sight cleaner and neater than it was. Basic hygiene just seems to have completely never sunk in, despite repeated tries. So we are going to close this up here shortly. So the first time when he took off, without even bothering to wake us up to say goodbye, it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do with this room? Well, okay, we need a studio. So we got it all cleaned out and we painted the walls fresh and new and everything. And then 2 days later, just as we're ready to move in, he calls us and says, oh, you were right. I can't take it over here. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, we'll come and pick you up. There's a lot more that goes into that, trust us. But yeah, so we go and we pick him up, and it's like, well, there goes our new studio. Okay, son, time to put your nose to the grindstone. And so then happened Walmart, and well, actually, graduation happened, and then Walmart, and then the timeline might be a little mixed up. So after the getting fired from Goodwill, when he came back into the house, we sat down and we made a contract, all of us, there were 13 points of things such as you will wash and clean every day, you will keep your room neat, basic stuff, help out with the household chores, contribute, don't be nasty to your siblings and things like that, be respectful, basic things. It's not like we were asking for the sun, the moon, and the stars. Well, those were broken, and one of those things was stay on your meds and go to therapy. And every single last one of those points was broken, and not only broken, but broken repeatedly. He lies constantly. And what's really sad is that he's terrible at it. He's the worst liar ever. They're so transparent that it's like, dude, you're just making it 10 times worse. It's like, I almost feel sorry. But so it's just one of these where it's like, and a lot of these rules, it's like one of the main ones was if somebody's going to come over, we need 48 hours notice as a system. And this is just for our safety because this is our house and this is our this is our building block. We have to have some place where we feel safe. And this is our environment where we can control it and feel safe in it. And we woke up one day only to find that he had one of his friends in the house and they were doing their thing. And of course, there were body odor issues and other triggers and Bootstraps. The situation kind of went downhill from there. And we ended up, unfortunately, and this is not an impulsive thing, our wife and I had discussed it thoroughly, and it's one of these where you turn every single last cheek you have and you give all of the advantages and tries in the world, but it's one of these where he will take an inch, a millimeter, and turn it into 16 miles. So unfortunately, that was it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, because obviously he didn't give a rat's ass about us and our minimal requests and our boundaries. And we were like, okay, that's it. Get your shit and get out. And but rather to then kick him to the curb, we have had an RV that we bought for a family trip several years ago that's basically just been sitting there. Not like it's somewhere between a pop-up camper and an RV. It's called a high-low, where literally the whole thing will sink down and then raise up again. It's actually pretty damn neat. And we bought it used, and we went through and restored it. Well, I did. We didn't know we were a system then. And of course, it was probably Boots who did most of the work anyway. So it was just sitting there. So it's like, okay, as a parent and as, it's like you love your kid, but you may not like them very much. And that's a fine point that you never really understand until you actually have kids. It's possible to love with your family members, but totally not like them. Or we should say behaviors. So rather than kick him out onto the street, it was like, okay, I don't even know why I'm doing this, but you can go live in the RV, but you have to leave the house and go get a job and everything. And, wait, no, well, yeah, okay, it's complicated anyway. So that's how we got this room, because we finally said, you're out of here. And this room was nasty. Okay, just nasty. We've shampooed the rug on here twice, and it needs to be done a third time, and we might just hit it for the fourth, but it's yeah, anyway. So that's how we got our new studio. So we spent about the past week and a half getting this to where we can walk in and be in the room for more than 5 minutes at a time without being triggered from the residual odors that sunk into and became a part of the carpet somehow. And anyway, so yeah, here, new studio, yay, that's the story. And believe it or not, that is the TLDR version of it, because there's a lot that went into there. That decision to boot him out the house was not made easily or casually, trust me. Us, it was a joint thing with our wife and us, and it was raging full-on narcissist is using us and abusing the family emotionally and not following boundaries. So there we are. Moving on. Let's see who is all in the chat, shall we? Okay, so yeah, there's the story. And no roses. We just simply didn't go into it because you were in the middle of dealing with, you had your own things with landlady visits and things, and it wasn't, like we were in crisis over it. It was just more of these, one of these where it's like, okay, we're just going to wait until this whole damn thing just resolves, because it's like we deliberately waited a week, after all of this shit went down, to even begin working on the room, because it's another one of these, we don't want to give it up again, but it was also one of these where it's like, no, the final line is crossed, he's not coming back into the house. The one thing, to wrap this up, in his credit, is that he never took to drugs or alcohol or other risky behaviors like that. So yay, kudos for that. At least there was one thing, thank goodness, as a parent. So it's like, anyway, okay, so back to the comments. Rant over. Okay, so Dragons, their name just came up for housing, so excited might get to move out of mom's house, but the paper said 6 months or longer. Stay on top of it, But good, that's exciting news. Exciting news. Hope that works out. Little thread about their brother. Maintaining, but they've been in a slump. Appreciate good wishes, feeling down, and then mystery leg injury. Really happy to be here. Okay, you're going to have to fill us in on mystery leg injury if you choose to do so. That piques the interest. Or piques, sorry, the interest. Okay, so let's see here. Kate, we have her, Mr. Chris. She snuck up when she saw the green screen and is obsessed with kitties. Okay, no problem. Just making sure. Drinks, yeah, keep the faith. This be the verse. Hello, this be the first. Good to see you pop in. Everything is as good as possible for you. Yeah, just ranting about our son and how we came to be in our new studio, which was his old bedroom, and we were showing everybody around. You can see it on the beginning of the video. We walk around the room and show you. And as usual, we'll always have our live streams up and leave them up. How many do we have? 14. Okay, small crowd still. Okay, let's see here. Okay, this be the happening for you dragons. Also, 6 months off the minimum amount of time it could be. Yeah. Um, 420 witch, what I wouldn't give for the right health to work. You don't know how lucky he is. Yeah. And unfortunately, he's one of these that just has to learn everything the hard way. And this is because he was coddled early on by the same grandma that he decided to run to lock, stock, and barrel. We keep going to adjust our glasses, and they're not there. Nervous habits. So, yeah, it was years and years of. Anyway, there it is. We could go on for the whole damn thing, but yeah, we get what you're saying, 420 witch, because if you have severe health problems or live in chronic pain, you kind of look at these other people like doing things like that, and you're like, what is wrong with you? So yeah. Naomi, hi, sorry for being late. No, you're fine. You're not late. Hope everyone is doing well. Hey, yeah, fair to middling, Naomi. Hope things are quieter in your part of the world over there. Ugh. Anyway, stay safe, please. Who else do we have here? Little threat, totally get you about loving family, but always not liking them. That's my mom for me. Take the small ones, I guess. Or chiropractor this week. Hey, good, good. We remember you talking about that last time. Yeah, little threat. It's just, unfortunately, you hit the end of the. It comes down to this. As a parent, you always want to do best, and you want to save your child from pain, and you want to give them your experiences so they don't have to go through the same mistakes to make the same things and deal with the same pains. You want to save them that, but that can also lead to being overprotective, and you have to let them live. And probably because of the latent trauma influencing us, we've always been very protective of our kids. But there's a difference between that and then standing back to actually have them live those things. So you want to protect them, and it's like at this age, it came down to a matter of fact that he was abusing us. He was not following the rules that were laid out. He was not respecting boundaries. His lack of personal hygiene is an immense trigger for us. We couldn't even come into this half of the house because the smell just literally pervaded. Because he wouldn't wash his clothes or bedding or take a shower for several days in a row, and and he would be on VR all night long, sleeping all day, and on VR chat all night long, and gaming and doing this and that and the other thing. And it's like, no, you're laying around on your ass unemployed, and you're not contributing to the house. You're breaking all of our boundaries. So sorry, reluctantly, son, but you're driving us to throw your butt out on the street, where you're going to have to talk with your therapist and hopefully find a halfway house so that you can finally realize that, yeah, actions have real world consequences, and that it's not easy. And it's like, yeah, guess what? The world has teeth, and we've been shielding you from a great part of it. Um, yeah, anyway, you can see it's been a very frustrating thing for us. Very frustrating. Um, yeah, it's that's what's been going on this month, basically. So, let's see here. He was taking advantage and taking a kindness for weakness. Really, yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you. That is nice, parents like you. We've tried. Okay. And lately we've been thinking we do need to give ourselves more credit for. Yeah, we've screwed up. We've made some class A mistakes with our kids. um, Grade A, just absolute cups. We did not emotionally, well, we didn't emotionally abuse them. Obviously, no, not that we didn't put them through the kind of stuff that we went through. Yay, us. Um, but because of that, we also have to give ourselves more credit for the good job that we did do before we found out that we were a system. They grew up in a home knowing that they were loved, it was safe, there wasn't domestic violence, things like that, the stuff that we grew up in. But by the same token, because we didn't know any better, and this is part of what we've had to grasp as part of our journey, and untangling the infinite things that are us, is that we had no tools for emotional or anger regulation. We had no positive influences other than our grandparents on how to be a father, on how to be a parent, other than, what we would pick up in books or on TV, the ABC after school specials with the good dad, the understanding parents who cared and, tried to help their kids and things like that. I know it sounds cheesy, okay, but my generation, we grew up with 3 channels, so we tended to fasten on to what positive role models that we could. To be honest, Mr. Rogers kind of formed, Mr. Rogers and our grandfather basically kind of formed the nucleus of what we felt a good father would be, and we've tried to emulate that even before knowing that we were a system. So anyway, round and round, we have to give ourselves more credit for dealing as well as we did, never having those tools in the first place, and never being really taught that in the first place. So, yay us, we weren't complete perhaps, but yeah, we've made some big mistakes here and there, as every parent does. So, and I'm not sure we had a point. So, yes, let's see here. Yeah, but yeah, he was taking advantage. And thank you for calling us good, nice parents. We've tried. We've tried. Star Girl saying, yeah, sometimes they wonder about how much their body can take if they keep going. Work is rough, I guess. Yeah, and it is. Working can be hard, and we now understand, learning about our multiplicity and the fact that we are a system, some of the severe challenges that we've had in the past in the work environment, because we've had a number of of jobs where we have either been flat out fired or we've quit because all of a sudden they come to us and say, your attitude sucks, you're missing a lot of time, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, what? We don't miss time. And yeah, it turns out we did. And we could never quite reconcile it. We thought that we were just being lazy fuck-ups. No, it turns out that each of us was doing their best to try to deal in the work environment. And that's not always possible after you've had a trauma flashback at night, don't realize it, and wake up the next day with immense, diffuse pain in your abdomen and can't seem to focus. And everything is too bright, too loud, too colorful. The touch of cloth against my skin makes me want to run away. Yeah, so there's challenges to being a system in the work world for sure. Things have hit the point lately where, it's just, things are getting tight all over. I don't know how it is overseas, but here in the U.S., yeah, the economy is going nuts. Inflation is running rampant, and it's getting harder and harder to live on what you can get. So we feel you. Yeah, working as a system can be a challenge. We might actually do an episode on that at some point. Data, make a note. So yeah, Starry Girl, we feel you. Okay, let's see. A little thread about their leg. Okay, spent time squatting, cleaning the spot of carpet, and then placed a mattress and was crawling on it, placing bedding. Ouch! One of the springs and your angle threw you off balance. Ouch! We're sorry. At least it wasn't the spring poking through the mattress and going, ow. But ow. Rice, rest, ice, compression, elevation. In other words, rest. Put your foot up. Put a cold pack on it, and keep it slightly elevated. Sorry, that's the medic in us coming up. But yeah, don't strain it, little threader. That'll turn into something worse. Okay, Kate, wow, that's happened with my adopted son. He was manipulating our struggles and used them against us. When he tried to hurt the dog, we had to give him to the state, and he was removed from the home. Sorry to hear that. It sounds like there's that he's got some issues there, and hopefully they'll be able to help him out with that. Our son has never been abusive to animals. I don't want to go into too much of it. He's never been that way with animals or anything, fortunately, but yeah, lots of mental and emotional manipulation. Yeah. And the worst part is that our second wife had him pegged right off the start. And we didn't listen. It was one of those, a lot of it was we were still going through intense grief at the time, and part of it was also the rose-colored glasses. Oh, not my kid's son. Surely, no, not our son. He's got a good heart. He just needs to, learn a few things, blah, 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 and he'll be fine. Yeah, we've had to mea culpa that one. It's like, sorry, honey, you're right. Had his number, so yeah, yet another remarkable bit of patience from her. Okay, so let's see here. This be the verse. We have a lot of positive modeling in our system, taken from TV shows, films, books, etc. I think it's good to take whatever we can get when we can get it. Really doesn't sound cheesy to us. Yeah, and what you just described there, this is actually the formation of positive introjects. This is how they're formed. Is that the system, the child with DID will take those various positive influences that they can get while they're in the middle of abusive hell, and can often model aspects, can be modeled after those influences. So that's where some of your fictives come from, and where your positive interjects as a whole. We'll just leave it with the group heading rather than breaking it apart. But yeah, that's where they come from. Percival, our love of literature, and a lot of we watched a lot of British TV and things like that, and we're fairly sure that's where he came from. But he's a person like the rest of us. It's just we were drawing from those influences, and with the little stories in the safe space, you can see the Fred Rogers influence there. So, yeah. Let's see. Little threats talking more about their legs. Sudden right lower leg pain, outside like a cramp, but not had a key. Drive home out. Seems like a muscle thing. All tendons are fine. Inside. Lower right leg outside. Yeah, sounds like you strained a muscle there. Yeah, that's if it were tendons, you'd know it. Okay, E. White, how is has your son? Okay, sorry, E. White, we're trying to figure out your question here. Has your son talked about why he personally feels he is struggling to develop this kind of initiative? Oh, yeah, we've had many, many, many conversations about what he feels his issues are and everything else, but it comes down to it's a repeated pattern. When everything else fails and his lies and his manipulations have been exposed, then he goes into the remorse mode. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have no excuse for this, for behaving this way, and I'll try to do better, and blah, and this will last all of 2 or 3 days afterwards. And when we would give him that opportunity, give him that slack again, and the pattern would just always start to repeat back and back and back. And we encouraged him to get therapy and be on his meds. And when he's on his meds and he's in therapy, he's all right. He functions pretty well, but he won't stay on them. He backslides, and no matter how much, there's the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Same thing. You can give all the tools, you can give all the understanding, you can give all of the chances in the world, but eventually it comes down to the fact that the person has to take that initiative and change. And particularly if you're in an environment like this one, where there are some serious mental health issues going on in the family, those boundaries are important, and those rules are important, because the actions of one person affect everyone else, and he just never could quite grasp that. So no, it's not that we didn't give him the opportunity to express his feelings. Oh, we had many, many honest, gut-wrenching conversations where everything was covered and everything was talked about and everything brought out, but nothing ever changed. Nothing ever changed. And I can't change my son. He has to learn to do this himself. Do I want him to end up on the street? No. Do we want him to end up in prison or something like that? No. But ultimately, mommy, wow, he's a big kid now. So hopefully that answers your question. Was it E. White? Yeah, E. White. And welcome, by the way. Let's see. Starry Girl, we work in a deli in a grocery store. That's not a bad place in a grocery store. Yeah, it gets bad some days, just not physically. People are draining. Yeah, people are just flat out abusive nowadays. It's ridiculous. Blue Rose, this parent talk hits hard. Last week we celebrated our eldest son's birthday, but we were very young when he was born and still in the abusive situation. He was taken away a few hours after birth. We're sorry. We're sorry that happened and that you were in that situation. Hopefully things are better now. Hopefully you have some communication with him and are able to be a part of his life in some way, shape, or form. That's a tough situation. Blue Rose, that's a tough one. Let's see, Dragons. We've been having memories lately of our abuse. Then a little who was a trauma holder told us all the trauma he went through. Yeah, sounds like the lid is starting to come off of that can of worms. Don't, and we've said this time and time again, and we'll repeat it again, don't push, don't dig. It will all come out on its own, on its own. Trust your amygdala to know what it's doing, because it does. And if you push, it's just going to make it 1,000 times worse. Oh my God. But yeah, Dragons, it's gonna come out. Excuse us. Let's see, 420, which a bit off topic, but I'm slowly looking into becoming a foster care. Oh, excellent. And hang on, chat's going. Call foster to adopt program. Yeah, we are familiar. As having biological kids is risky for your body due to the NF and other things. Yeah, absolutely. Good for you, because there are lots of children out there who would very much like to have a home. Very much like to have a home. So yes, good for you. Proud of you for doing that. Hope that works out for sure. Let's see. Apologies there and support. Okay. Kate is saying that Gus is their safety, is their protector. My son knows how much he needs to be able to live life. My son wanted to take that away from me, now blames me for choosing Gus over him. It's your life. It's your decision. And hopefully in time he'll come to understand that. Ever since Encanto came out, which deals heavily with that's actually a deep movie with many layers to it. Some real serious issues dealt in with there, and one of the main themes is generational trauma, which is what Abuela is essentially inflicting upon the family out of her own fear of losing everyone. She sets up this impossible, thing of service all the time, and we've had, and this kind of brought us around, along with everything else that we went to realize that that not only did we suffer from generational trauma ourselves, but that we have been unknowingly inflicting it upon our kids, and particularly one of our daughters as well. That's kind of a hard realization, and we've apologized for it, but unfortunately there's only so much you can do, because we've talked a great deal in many of our videos about perspective, keeping that perspective. And when you're in a situation, you're inside the box, and you don't realize that you're inside the box because that's all that you've ever known. So the minute that somebody with another perspective, or you're finally able to step out of that box and gain proper perspective, you're all, oh crap, and suddenly you realize that everything that you thought was hunky-dory and normal was not, and was not healthy. So that's been a large part of our journey as well. But yeah, I'm sure everyone here has seen Encanto. If you haven't, check it out. It's a great movie on many levels, but it's real serious. So anyway, generational traumas, yes. Yeah, very common with abuse. Okay, let's see, where were we? Okay, let's see here. Thanks, Jocelyn. Okay, 420 was saying, I get a watch with mother vibe from the little corner and little stories. Hopefully that's a comfort thing. For us, that would not be, but for you guys, yay. Let's see, thank you. This be the person. Okay, lots of virtual host, everyone who needs them. This be the verses saying to Dragons, that's really rough. We're also glad that Trauma Holder Little in your system has you all and feels safe enough sharing that with you. None of you should have ever had to go through that. Yes, and this be the verses touching on something there. The fact that it is starting to come out means that you've started to progress in the journey, and that you're in a safe enough-ish situation that your amygdala has decided, okay, we can begin to work on these things now. So while it may seem like, oh my God, my life is exploding, this is actually a good thing on a couple different levels. So keep that in mind. Because it's rough, dear God. When Christopher's trauma started to come out, well, you've seen the videos. Yeah. So yes, Bryce, yes, little threat. Thank you. I used to work at the deli, love the work. Thanks, good stuff. Little threat. Okay, okay, going down. Okay, yeah, here we are. Star Girl saying, yeah, when it comes to Encanto, our host is a mix of Luisa and Mirabelle. Hopefully I spelled that right. Yeah, we know what you're talking about. Let's see. Blue Rose is saying, sadly, they have had no contact with any of their children born while in the bad situation. Don't know where they ended up or if they're still alive. Oh, so it was an anonymous. Yeah. We're sorry. That's got to be a tough one to live with. Yeah, that's brutal. Or we're sorry for that. And we're not going to give you the platitudes of, oh well, it was probably for the best, blah 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 blah. Because while that may be true to a certain extent, things are highly varied. But it's just that it's a platitude because it's not going to help you feel better about it, and it's not going to bring you any closure. And I guess really all you can hope for is at some point they'll be curious enough. Well, okay, you said, yeah, it was anonymous. Technically, they could probably track it down if they really wanted to, but that gets real funny legally. But I guess point is, and what we're trying to say is, we understand and we feel your pain. We haven't had to experience that personally, but we have watched other family members and friends of family members, not ours, have to go through that same type of a scenario just because of the lifestyles and circumstances. So it's not a cut and dried situation. No judgment from us whatsoever. It's just, it is what it is. You had to do what you had to do, and you're out of that situation now. You're doing better, so feel good about that. And the next time that you feel that guilt, I guess, think about that. Think about how far you've come since then. I know that it's not going to soften that pain any. It's not going to solve anything, but at least give yourself credit where it is due for you. Okay, and we're just, before we stick our foot further into our mouths, we're going to move on here, but support and understanding. So back here, how many we got? 15. So yeah, Encanto. Hound, my son here in the system connects with Luisa a lot from Encanto. You should see him listening to her song. Yeah, there's a day that doesn't go by in this house when we're not listening to the Encanto soundtrack. We've been obsessively trying to learn. We don't talk about Bruno on piano, just because we do play. We learned to play early. And it had been a number of years since we actively played, and we finally got a keyboard that actually, fills that piano urge for us, because it's a nice one with the semi-weighted keys and everything. And, while we love upright pianos and honest acoustics, it's like we're not one to sneeze at that. And plus, space constraints. Love to have a beautiful ebony black gloss baby grand in the house someplace, but that's just never going to happen. So, more tea. Yes, Percival, I hear you. There, we didn't waste the second cup this time, so quit complaining. He's always complaining because the little, when we make our tea in the morning, or he makes the tea rather, we have this little tea pot. Yes, I know, I called it properly this time. And it makes 2 cups pretty much exactly, but we'll always drink the first one, and then we'll forget that the second one is there, and then the next time we go to make tea, it's sitting there, and he's going, you wasted a good cup of tea, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, yes, notice, we're drinking it today. No, it's one of these are just the ordinary things that we have to deal with every day. There's always somebody commenting on something, and if you don't do it, he's very particular about certain things, and the tea is one of them, so we have to learn to cooperate and tolerate to a certain degree. Same with our host when she plays it. And by the way, Hound, I don't think that we've seen you before. If not, you have changed your name. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for being here. Okay, imposter syndrome is real when you haven't kept up with the output of Mouseland. Yeah, no kidding. Beestrap, hello. You made it. Driving safely, but I made it. Okay, good. Hopefully, now as we recall last time you're on your way home from work, possibly just be safe, all right? All right, Blue Rose, thank you all. Yeah, it's been rough, and if we had been given a choice, we would have kept them, but maybe we wouldn't have been able to get out. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's a toughie, Blue Rose. Um, that's a toughie. So 420, what you want to send Percival some British tea? Yeah, unfortunately, 420, which we do not have a PO box, and we will not be getting one most likely, at least not for quite a while. There are several reasons, and we've covered this before earlier on because uh, right around the time before we even hit 1,000 subs, we had said, okay, if we hit 1,000, we'll think about getting a PO box. But after looking into it, number one, there's the cost. Those little suckers are expensive. Oh my god. And but there's just also for us more the safety issue because we live in an area that is not overt system friendly, and the girls could definitely not go to Walmart safely where we're at. So that kind of tells you our situation. And it's not that we're afraid of the internet at large or anything. It's like knock yourself out. We're 50. What are you gonna to do with us? We used to work in law enforcement, for God's sake. So it's like, yeah, you want to dox us? Be my guest, buddy. It's so what? But for safety issues, because there are people out there on the internet who will take that trolling a step farther and start into personal stuff. You never know. We do not have a PO box. We appreciate that you guys want to send us personalized things, and we would love to accept them. And we were raised to where if somebody asks you something, or I'm sorry, offers you something, a gift or whatnot, you take it and you say thank you, because that's the way to be appreciated. And if you don't, then it's essentially being rude. It may sound counterintuitive, but that's how our grandmother raised us, basically. And so with a PO box, where we would love to say yes to you, just there's many reasons why we can't right now. So what we did, if you want to support us, either one, turn off the ads and watch a couple of it. Just throw our videos, throw one of our playlists up and turn off your ad blocker, and do it that way. Or we opened up a Buy Me a Coffee account, and in the description of our videos now you'll find a little link that says, like what we do, da 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 da, buymeacoffee.com. So that is our compromise. So if you can give us the name of said British tea so that we could then purchase it later, or from our private funds, we would very much appreciate that. But if you want to contribute directly to us, watch some ads, or hit us up on buymeacoffee.com. Several of you have done that, and what we're doing with that is we are letting it sit so that we can buy ourselves a decent camera, because we have wonderful audio we did voice work before, so we have a professional grade mic. You guys have commented on how good the sound is on our episodes, and that's why. We've got pretty much everything else except for a good camera. Everything that we've done so far has been just simply using our cell phone, which will do 2K, but it sucks. The camera sucks. That's why sometimes on our episodes you'll see it's really fuzzy and just kind of not in focus, despite the fact that it's filmed in 2K. It's just because the sensors on a cell phone can only do too much. And we've got a Samsung, it's a Galaxy S8, so it's kind of behind the curve. So anyway, you want to support us, those are the two ways to do it, and we're just letting it sit there to get a better camera to do better content for you guys. So that's where we're at with that. Long spiel. We don't long spiel on that. We don't talk about it a lot because that's not what this is about. Thank you very much, but if you keep your money, okay, things are tough right now. Please don't throw it at us if you need food or help paying the bills or something. You want to contribute, we'll say thank you, but don't feel obligated, and for God's sakes, don't do it if you need the money or whatever. Okay, so rant over. That's the only time that we really will mention it, because we don't like to talk about it, so it makes us feel weird. So anyway, the whole idea of anyway, so yes. Hound says, thank you. We've been watching your channel for a little while, but we're not one to comment. No problem. Lurk as you will, but we're glad that you stepped forward so that we can say hi. Hi, Hound. And everyone. Okay, 420 Witch, that's understandable. I found while traveling the world, tea taste is so different in different countries. I shall DM in the names on Instagram for you later tomorrow. Thank you. We'll definitely look into that. Because he's been slowly weaning us towards Robert G. Hang on, I've got a cat that wants in. Hang on, Cho. Coming in there? Yeah, it's okay. We're in here. You coming? Okay. Well, I'll just leave the door cracked here and he can come cat bomb if he wants to. Okay. Cat that can't make up his mind. Okay, so where were we? Okay, Little Threat, have to go, but really glad to see you and sending good wishes for the future. Thank you, Little Threat. Get some rest, rice, rest, ice, compression, elevation. Take care of that leg, okay? And we'll see you next time around. And don't be afraid to comment, just drop us a hello on a community post or something. Let's see, Kate, we struggle to not show our disorder, and that is very hard to do. Cat that is a cat, yes. Just popped in. Love all your figurines. Thank you, Caden. Good to see you. Yeah, we're showing them. We actually, and you can go rewatch the video when we're done because we're not going to go back into it. But we finally got a room where we're able to set it up as an honest studio and have the whole room devoted to it and have room. Because everything that we've been doing was in our bedroom, like literally feet away from our bed. But we managed to pull it off because we had a corner there. But now we've got the whole room. So since when could a cat ever make up its mind? Never. Never. Particularly not Cheddar or Chocho, as we call him. He's just finicky. So anyway, yeah, figurines. We did this earlier in the video, but we can just do a quick look around for you guys now and show you what it looks like. We'll pull back. You can see that, in fact, it is an entire wall. And we've been working hard. Nothing on the top shelf there yet. And literally, we had to scrounge the house for knickknacks and whatnot because we don't really have a lot. So there's that wall that we're against, which is directly across from the window now, so that we've got light coming at us rather than to the side, which will get rid of the terrible shadows and the cross glare and whatnot. And overall, just give better lighting, which hopefully will improve the camera quality. So there's that wall, and as we spin around here, you can see that we've got green screen up because we started doing a bit of that in with the little stories, the butterflies and whatnot, and it seems to be working pretty well. And speaking of little stories, we've got all of that right over here in the corner, ready to go. Next time we have to do a few other things, but yeah, we've got our own room here, finally, for a studio of a sort. And apparently he's not going to come in. All right, don't say we didn't offer. So another quick tour of our connects and things like that. But yeah, it's nice to finally have a devoted space. So hopefully the production values of our stuff will go up. So, quick thing there. Thank you, Caden. Let's see. Make sure that we didn't miss any comments. They just wanted to check on you. Yep. Let's see, Kate. More kitties. How many you got? What's the names? Haha, cat, let me in. Open door, cat. No. In. Yeah, just two. Colby and Cheddar. You guys have seen them before. You can see them in all their glory in the Voices in My Head, A Day with VID. I think they're also there at night too. So if you want to see the cats, that's where they're at. And we also post them on our Instagram. So Caden's saying, I love it. It's visually interesting without being distracting. One of our littles has been watching your story videos when he's out, so glad you can see us. Space for that stuff too. Oh yeah, absolutely. It was actually one thing that the little stories, the safe space that we have there with the trees and whatnot over here. uh, when we built those trees and we built everything to fit that space in between the wall and our dresser and the door to the bathroom, actually. And it was, everything was customized to that space. And when we got in here, we were like, oh, yeah, great. We can go ahead and we can spread the trees out and have much more. We can make a bigger castle, and start to get into some of what we wanted to do with that. And, just generally have a larger area to work with. But what we didn't realize or count on. So we come in here and we get the green screen hung up because we've had it forever. Our wife bought it for us when we were doing our other channel, PNT, because we did a lot of crappy green screen just using a black backdrop and stuff like that. So she bought us a pro grade green screen. And it's been sitting in the closet because we just did not have the room to hang it up. And she's been very patient as it is with all the stuff that we've put in the bedroom and on the walls and whatnot, and on the floor, because we've made the felt, areas, the felt grasp, and the filling things out, the roots for the trees. Anyway, long story short, when we got it in here, we were like, oh, good. So we set it all up and we tack it on the wall and everything, and you get it all spread out and everything. And then we realized that from where the camera will be, we can't get the whole wall in frame. So we'll keep it its original size, but we're going to have to bring it in to the middle with about 3 feet or either side of the green screen away from the corners, just simply to get everything in frame. So little bumps in the road that you don't think about until you run across them. And I know we keep fiddling with this, but there. Excellent. So yeah, that's what's going on there, and we actually already have. Yeah, let's while we're talking about little stories and things that we've been doing. First, thank you to all of our folks who have found us via our Moon Knight review series. Yes, we are going to do the wrap-up episode, but we have needed to take a break for things that we just discussed. And we kind of needed to clear our heads a bit after being in the storyline, so that now we need to go back over each episode in our reviews and pull out the best bits from the show and the worst bits from the show, good representations versus bad representations, and also the highlighted or the more general comments that you guys have made over each episode, and the questions that you've had that a lot of people have liked. So obviously they have the same thought or the same question, like how we judged harshly on the first episode, but then we at your guys' behest, and once you brought that to our attention, we kind of loosened up on that. But a lot of folks didn't understand when they were watching it is that we weren't judging the characters and their actions. For example, Khonshu being an asshole, Harrow being an evil guy and doing evil things. It's not that we were judging for that, and it may have come across that way, but we weren't. What we were judging was the content that was presented through the characters, which may seem to be a quibbly point, but that's how we were coming at it. And I think you guys kind of figured that out as we went along, but we did loosen things up. So anyway, we got to go back, pull out the questions, pull out the bits we want to highlight, and then, do the overall. So we have to do the leg work on the episode, but we wanted, Blue Rose had brought up the ball test, which is the illusion of choice that we just uploaded. I hope you guys have enjoyed that, and that the message got across. We know it was a kind of a little bit of a kick in the gut, as it is. Our longtime viewers will be able to tell you new folks, we do that to you from time to time. It's like, okay, time to kick in the gut and show you how it really is from time to time. Thanks, we're sorry, but that actually came about because of one of our previous live streams. We had it sitting in our old magic stuff in our old set routines and whatnot, and we'd been going over the notes, and we realized, there's got to be a way that we can work this in, and we finally figured it out, and we did it impromptu at the very end of a live stream. I think it was the one before, or maybe even the one before that, and the reaction to it was really, wow, positive. Just And so we decided, okay. And then Blue Rose was literally asked us after we had already done it, would you consider doing this in a separate episode so that the message can get across to the viewership at large instead of just kind of being hidden there on the end of the live stream. So we went ahead and we did that, and like I said, we hope you guys like it and that it got the message across. Because it's sometimes the easiest way to explain something is to literally put you in it, and it's like, oh, okay, I didn't think about that. So that's what the purpose was behind that. So coming around, so yes, we are going to do the wrap up on Moon Knight. We have 2 episodes of little stories that have actually already been shot and were shot before we actually even started on Moon Knight reviews that are in the can. We're going to get one of those out here. We were going to try to do it at the end of this month, but it's just not going to happen because we had to move into all this. But next month for sure, we're going to have at least one little stories. We'll also be doing a piece on the TITH headaches, the transitional interpersonality thunderclap headaches, those nasty migraines that we get just before and after we switch right in, and why those are what they are and how they happen. We've already done up some good infographic bits on it. We've been slowly working on it a bit here and a bit there. Excuse us. So we've got that coming down the pike. So you can look for TITH episode, the at least one episode of Little Stories. We're going to try to get both of them out. And of course, the Moon Knight wrap up. So that's where the programming stands, hopefully for June. That's what we have planned anyway. We'll see what actually comes out. So after rambling on and on and on about that, let's go to the chat log here and see what we have. Let's see here. Cheese cats, Tankies, yes. Had fostered 2 orange kitties named Mac and Cheese. Yeah, with us it was Colby and Cheddar because they came as a pair. Actually, my first wife and I, and then the kids, we were coming back from Walmart one day, and it was I think it had been raining that day. Anyway, we're going in through the back door, and all of a sudden I hear this little mew, and I look down, and here's this scrawny, nothing but bones and fur, 2 little kittens, and we pick them up and bring them in and clean them off, and it's like, come on, honey, okay, we can keep one, and it's like, which one do you want? And it's like, yeah, we know this is not really going to happen, so that's how Colby and Cheddar came into our lives. So, long story short. And that was, they're pushing 20 years old now, I think. At least between 15 to 20. It's been a while, but they stay in pretty good health. Okay, let's see here. Stargirl, you all work so hard for us. Thank you for all you've done to help us. I remember that you did that ball test in a live one, so I sort of knew what to expect. Yeah. Thank you, Stargirl, for your compliments. Yeah, and we just know that some of you are going back over and rewatching that episode to try out all of the variants and to try to figure out how the hell we did it. Good luck! Because yes, as we point out, the outcome will always be the same. As long as you follow the directions exactly, you will always end up with a blue ball stuck to the end of your nose. Because the trouble is I can't explain it without going into some really obscure principles of mentalism and whatnot. I think it was Will's mom basically had the right of it in that it's not the choices that are actually determining the outcome, but the directions, as it were. And that's partly right. There's about 4 different things that go into it. Like I say, some of it's trade secret, and it's really complicated. Mentalism, which is what that's called, or thought experiment for you overseas folks, is a very, I don't want to say esoteric, but it's a very complicated area of magic in and of itself. You have your stage magicians and your close-up magicians, and guys who do the pulling rabbits out of the hats and whatnot. There's about 6 different ways to pull that one off. But mentalism is kind of a specialty type of a thing, and it operates by a whole completely different set of rules. But we find that everything in it, the more you try to figure it out, the more it's just simply going to reinforce our point, is that you, despite the fact that you believe that you're in control of your decisions, can be put into situations where your choices are predictated. So yeah, for those of you who are trying to figure it out, good luck with that. The exact method, I guarantee you're never going to find it. So just go ahead and just enjoy it. And, anyway, so there's about that. Yes, but thank you, sorry girl, for, well, we do work for you guys. Yeah. But, we don't push ourselves too hard. It's like, that's why yesterday we decided to stay in bed rather than live stream, and to do it today because we're trying to learn to self-care. So let's see here. Blue Rose, thank you again for doing that. No, absolutely, it was a great suggestion. It was ironic because we had actually already decided to do it about a week before you posted that comment. So it's like funny that you asked. Let's see here. This be the verse. Haven't watched that video yet, but we were in the live and loved the magician's trick with different colored balls. Yep, that's the one. And it was a good message, so looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. We just tightened it up and changed the script to tighten it up and to present the message better for that. So we're pretty pleased with the end result. There's very few times when we'll produce something that we go, nailed it. That's one of those, except of course for the video quality, which sucked because we were going for the shadowy candle, slightly mysterious thing, but the light sensor, the low light sensor on our phone sucks. So it came out all blurry. Lovely atmosphere, blurry picture. Yeah, what are you going to do? We didn't want to reshoot and better lighting. So anyway, yet another reason why we're saving up for a camera. So that's where those Buy Me a Coffee donations go towards, because that's the weak link in our chain. Yeah, check that out. This be the verse. TITH headaches are something we really want and need to know about. We appreciate your informative content and all the work you put in to help. It does help us. Thank you. Yeah, we're just sharing the stuff that we run across and that we figure out, but thank you, absolutely. Let's see here. Roses, Chris, hate to say this, but my dyslexic brain got the light bulb. Yeah, the instruction, don't feel bad about that. The instructions are a little, you kind of got to really pay attention there, but it does happen, it's from time to time. And curiously enough, it always seems to be the white ball that's the one that folks get it when it doesn't quite work right. But for about 95% of the people who do it, it's going to always be that blue ball. But, 601 half a day. It's not absolutely foolproof, but it's about as foolproof as you can possibly get. But yeah, so sorry about that. It happens even to just normal folks, so don't feel bad. Okay, Caden says, I knew when I got the wrong color, it's because I messed up. Well, I think I counted wrong at some point. It can be a little weird. Go back and redo it, and you can see where you went awry or whatnot. It's complex, we know. And we just kind of drop it on you guys out of the middle. It's like, okay, where are you guys going with this? It's like, we'll tell you, but not till the end. So, the point got across, though, and that's the main thing. Okay, let's see. This be the verse. Vince and Ryan went through the video after and worked it out because they wanted to know after, but me and Connor still don't really know the ins and outs. Yeah, there's some math in there, so if they did figure it out, kudos to them. Even if you do figure it out, it makes the point just as well, to be honest. It was a good way to show that message. Yeah, and that's why we decided to do it. So, Pia, hello. So late, but just sticking your head in. No, you're fine. We've only been going an hour. Hi, everyone. Don't start a hashtag like Chris. Dang it, that's not our focus. It will come when it comes. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it did help with the whole you always have a choice thing. It's hard to think that other people are so willing to hurt other people like that, where they really have no choice. Forgive rambling. Forgive you for rambling. We're the ones that sit here and ramble on incessantly. Yeah, and it was the best way. We'd been trying to come up with a way to illustrate that point of when you're in the box, you don't know it. And because you're in the box and that's all that you know, the things that they're doing to manipulate you, you don't even catch on to. But yeah, it's deliberate manipulation. And that's been a hard realization for us as well, because, and we often say, we're kind of working in reverse. in that we basically formed functional multiplicity, growing up just to survive, because we split so many times and so much trauma. So a large part of our journey has been unpeeling that whole orange or onion or whatever, insert metaphor here. And we've had to come to realize that, yeah, we had all the classic signs and symptoms of an abused child all the way down the line, and we never thought that any of these things were odd, that they didn't happen to every kid. So yeah, that perspective, once you finally get shoved outside of that box, is a rude awakening. And we know that folks, that systems suffer with denial. We still suffer from it from occasion to occasion. Trauma doesn't lie helped. That was a major tool in our toolbox, and thank you to our previous therapist for introducing us to that. And we wanted to share that with you, because it gives a hard wall that your denial can run up against. And it's like, okay, but this and this and this and this and this didn't happen. And yeah, you got the trauma. Trauma doesn't lie. Sorry, it has no motivation. It's just there, and it is an undeniable fact that if you got this, something happened. And then you just have to unpeel exactly what it was. So we do know that we're pushing heavy things in, but it's easiest to, if we can find a way to show, folks, NTs, without going overboards, and to help you guys with denial, we're going to try to do it. And Trauma Doesn't Lie is basically that's our masterwork on denial as it is. But the 3-ball test fit into that, because you're actually able to lead somebody through it. And as you're leading them through the process, they're thinking that they have free choices, and they do actually, to a certain extent, just within the boundaries that you're setting. But you're still putting them in that boat to where you're going. It's like, damn, I would have to look it up on the comment. It's the brain is blanking right now. Jessica Irvine, her comment on there, where she's like, when you said the color of the ball, our stomachs dropped, and then when you linked it back around to it not being our fault and being manipulated, it was like a cold freeze, because that we are bad is so ingrained into us deeply. And when it's like, yeah, that's what we were trying to do, was to get you to go, oh, wait a second. So yeah, anyway. Ramble. Yes. Okay, we did too. Sorry, girl was saying, in fact, I heard that childhood ADHD and childhood trauma are very similar to each other. Yeah, there's a lot of comorbidity between the dissociative conditions and like ADHD. That's why DID can be so difficult to diagnose, is because it looks like so many other things. It looks, because you have the symptoms of bipolar, you have the symptoms of PTSD, you have the symptoms of anxiety. There are all of these things. It's like, just dissociation does not necessarily mean that you have DID. Everybody does it under extreme things. CPTSD. You don't have to be a system in order to have these things. But and this is why the theory of structural dissociation is so important, and understanding it, because it has 3 different levels. You've got your primary, which is PTSD, that anxiety, these type of conditions where you where you only have one AMP or one EP or incident of trauma. And then we go down from primary to secondary, where you get into CPTSD, bipolar, and then OSDD, 1A, 1B. I forget how many there are right now. That always seems to be a bit in flux, where you have multiple EPs or traumatic events, but still are only dealing with really one ANP. And then you have full-blown DID on the bottom, which has the symptoms of everything else above it. So if you're on level 2, you got all the level 1 symptoms, or could have as well. When you're on the bottom with DID, you've got everything above it. So it's really easy to misdiagnose DID systems as something else because they're only looking at the surface level. Because unfortunately, DID is still such a controversial diagnosis. Despite the fact that now we have medical evidence backing it up. MRI scans, CT scans, the identification of the exact layer where the amygdala locks these memories away. And so we have the mechanism, we have the proof of it. The scientific research is finally catching up. But, and this is one of the reasons why we are so pro-diagnosis on our channel, we're not saying anybody else isn't invalid. We're just saying if you can get in there and get diagnosed for sure so that you can get the help that you need and you have a base, a foundation that you can then build off of because it is so complex and there are so many comorbid conditions. And again, perspective, you're in that box, so you're not going to be able to see the whole picture that the professionals will. So there's our rant on that. Moving on. Let's see here. But yeah, Starry Girl, absolutely. Okay, this be the verse. Trauma symptoms are like math, I think sometimes. They have a connective law to them that always infallibly functions and works as it works regardless of what we think. The symptoms all make it logical. Yeah, there's always it's cause and effect. Cause and effect, cause and effect. Breaking down science to the basic level. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You just have to have that perspective to go, okay, this cause is leading to that effect. Okay, let's see here. Sense of, yeah, exactly. We see what you're saying. This be the verse. Okay, Stargirl. And guess who was put on meds for ADHD that made the dissociation worse? Yeah, absolutely. Back in our time, it was Ritalin. That was the drug of choice. Child acting out, little rambunctious, won't behave. Put him on Ritalin and he'll be fine in no time. Yeah. I don't even know if they still prescribe that. Okay, here. Quantum System, hello, welcome. Those TITH headaches don't lie either. No, they do not. No, they do not. Okay, Rose's OSDD is not one AMP, Chris. It's basically DAD with different. Yeah, sorry. It's still Sluicy from yesterday. Thank you for correcting us. Let's see. Blue Rose is saying, yeah, before the DID diagnosis, we were diagnosed with all of the above. If I recall, 1A, the alters are similar, but there's amnesia. 1B is different alters, less amnesia. This be the verse. The UK's medical organizations claim they're moving largely away from diagnosis. We're pursuing it for us, but it's very complex to achieve. There's more of a focus on treatment of symptoms currently. How the hell are you going to treat the symptoms if you don't know the underlying cause? Sorry, that just doesn't make sense. That's kind of like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Rose is saying, yeah, the World Health Organization is steering away from the diagnostic model. Yeah, okay, focal in a form of Ritalin. Yeah, so they do still. Okay, this be the verse. We are well supported by our therapist who works with systems and is trauma informed, so we are okay. It's also frustrating because there are other supports we could feel safer in if we had a diagnosis. Yeah. Quantum, first comment disappeared, but I tried to say that we followed you for some time and you have been for us what the entropy system was for y'all. It's a relief to hear from someone who gets it. Thank you, Quantum System. We're honored and we're glad that our content has been able to help you. We're just sharing our experiences and what we run across and our own particular brand of long-winded weirdness. But we do try to make our content speak not only to DID victims, but to trauma or survivors, victim survivor. You kind of get hung up on the semantics of words and we see where that's coming from. So forgive us if we use those interchangeably, as long as you know what we mean. But yeah. Sorry, we just caught. But yes, thank you, Quantum. Welcome, glad to have you. And don't be afraid to ask any questions either on a live stream or on one of the video comments or whatnot. We always try to read your guys' comments and give us like a 48-hour window to get back to you. If it's something complex, because we will answer your questions, we don't have any problems with them. It's just we're busy, and sometimes we don't have that 5-10 minutes to sit down and jot out an in-depth answer for you guys. So, yeah, Caden is saying also it makes getting services as needed more challenging without a diagnosis. Yeah, absolutely. Rose is saying very easy to treat the symptoms of trauma without putting a stigmatizing label on it, Chris. Yes, okay, we see what you're saying, and we're not saying that we disagree. And that's more or less a data knee-jerk reaction to he's very binary in his matter of thinking. It's the cause and effect. If there is an effect, we need to find the cause so that we can treat the effect. But we can understand where moving away from the diagnostic model might be a better thing because it doesn't, as you say, slap those stigmatizing labels on you, which a lot of you have fought with. I mean, we're recently diagnosed. We're also much older, so there's, I don't want to say less stigma for us because there is. It's like I said, it's like we said, we can't safely let the girls go out to Walmart and fully front around here because there's just so much out there, and there's just so much stigma and misinformation. That's one of the reasons we decided to start the channel. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword. We hear what you're saying. We do respect that. For us, it's and because we've done medical work and we come from a medical based family, it's triage. You identify what needs the most important care and you go from there, figure out what's causing it. It's just a matter of simple A plus B equals C, and that's how data thinks. So that was kind of a knee-jerk reaction from him, so no offense to anybody intended. So we can see both sides. Let's see. It took 7 years till we realized what was happening and stopped taking it cold turkey. Never looked back. Let's see. And that's that kind of touches on something as well. That comment about the going cold turkey on the meds. I don't know how often this is for you guys, but we are on meds and we've taken them religiously. But there are times when we get that internal conversation going, why are we really taking this? I've been taking this drug for 3 years now. What does it really do? Is it doing anything for us whatsoever? What would happen if we just stopped taking it? And we've never actually chosen to do that because we know better. And we know better because there have been times when the pharmacy has not refilled our scripts promptly, and we've had to go 24 to 48 hours without our lamotrigine or Seroquel, and it shows. And that's when we remember, oh yeah, that's why we are on these meds in the first place. So just a little side note there. Ellie, hello, good to see you. Oh, like your avatar, that's very nice. Very pretty. Let's see. Okay, Ellie, is the background related to Midnight? Not sure what you mean. Oh, do you mean the stuff, our knickknacks and whatnot behind us? No, that's just our new wall. We've got a room all to ourselves now to where we can do these things, and we set up a whole wall with knickknacks and everything. Just go back to the previous parts of the stream later, and we show it all to you guys. So no, not directly related. We've always liked ancient Egyptian stuff. So not specifically. Okay, let's see here. Caden is saying it has positive and negatives for sure. Different people need different things as well. People should be able to get treatment without a diagnosis if it doesn't help, but it does help some people. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely agree that you should be able to get treatment without a diagnosis. So yeah, we see that side of it because not everybody's going to be able to get one. We get it. It's just we've kind of drawn our line in the sand on that, and we're comfortable sitting on it. Everybody else is valid. We're not saying that if you don't have a diagnosis that you're not valid. We will draw the line on the whole endogenic systems. I'm sorry, but you cannot have DID without trauma. It can be emotional, physical, growing up in a war zone, growing up without basic needs or things like that. There are a lot of things that can cause DID, not just sexual or physical abuse, but yeah, sorry, yeah, has to be trauma. So those are kind of our two lines. We don't want to piss anybody off, but that's where we've decided to draw them. At this point, it may change as we learn and grow and get more information, but that's where we're at now. So, yeah, absolutely, Caden, we agree. Still in the process of getting diagnosed, 420 says, but the professional I'm seeing feels I have BPD, but more specifically quiet BPD. Haven't heard of that before. We'll have to look it up. So yeah, let's see. Blue Rose says, for us, the diagnosis helped us to get more helpful treatment as a whole, and not just as blue. Yes, and that's kind of where we're at on it. Is the diagnosis is important so that you can treat the right things. You know, it's like you don't want to go on meds for the wrong thing and just be taking it. Okay, we've went on and on about that enough already. We'll just moving on. Let's see. Ellie's saying the age thing bothers because I know at age 9 was stepdad and age 8 was divorce. I don't think there is any trauma before age 8. You don't. Now keep in mind the whole age 8, age 9, age 10 thing is just kind of a guidepost. Really past the age of 10, it's extremely unlikely, because what happens, and we do go into this in other videos, is specifically, I believe it's the alters and all about them. We're not sure, but what happens is we're this floating, they're called ego states throughout our childhood from birth onwards, are these ego states: hot, warm, cold, mommy, daddy, soft, cuddly, hungry, full. You know, these things then later congeal into more advanced, complicated sensations, which then become I like this, I like chocolate, I don't like vanilla. Which then begin to coalesce more and more and more into one cohesive personality. DID and the repeated trauma interrupts those connections. So instead of this, we're going pew, 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 all over the place. And crap, our brain just... oh yeah, so yeah, the age range. So being that each brain is unique and develops differently, you can't nail it down and say, okay, past age 9, because there will be those age 10, it congeals to that point. So it's hard and fast, anywhere from birth to about those age ranges. How do you determine exactly something that relies on something that is individual for everyone? But past that point, once the ego states congeal as best they can, yeah, you can't do. This is why you can't develop DID later on in life. You can show the symptoms of it, like we did after the death of our first life. Our system broke down and we started to fragment and come apart from our functional multiplicity, or as best as it was. But that wasn't because we developed DID suddenly at age 50. No, it was already there. We just didn't realize it. And it was when the symptoms started coming out, and then we went in and eventually got diagnosed, that we realized, oh gee, we've been living with this our entire lives, and I am in fact a we, and we, away we go. Here's the rug of your life. Yank, just going to pull that right out from underneath you. Stability, not so much. So yeah. And again, we're rambling and just losing trains of thought here. So we covered the age thing. I think we were caught up. Okay, Stargirl saying they discovered something with their hosts form the inner world. It ties back to the brain dead thing we said earlier. May I tell this? It's not too bad. I think no. Go ahead. Sorry, I think we're all okay. Just possible trigger warning for you guys. This be the verse. They can only afford therapy every 3 weeks, so we want to diagnose this to see if we can get more specialized treatment funding. There you go. There's another plus. Jocelyn said, okay, they're talking more about the medications. That's good. Please support each other. Caden says, I think the idea is basically we know what you have, but we don't put it on paper. Yeah, it's and that's probably because they just don't want to sign on to it because it's still controversial. It's like Western medicine. Oh, it doesn't exist until it burns our nose off. Is the room on fire? I don't smell anything. No, I smell it burning. I don't smell anything either. It's like the fire is just all in your mind. Boy, we are random today. Okay. Jocelyn, no offense, but it sounds like she wanted a robot, not a child. Yeah. Good observation, Star Girl. Let's see. Ellie says they seem to be organized in those ego states, with one being angry, one being caring, one being anxious, one being sad, and then many, many more that do not front hardly. Yeah, and those are all your EPs, the containers of the emotions, whereas the ANPs are the ones that deal with the outside world, the person you sitting there now, and that can be really tough to untangle. Yeah, the fire is not real. Have some meds. Yeah, exactly. And then taking other things. Okay, fortunately, it's the subtype. Okay, talking about the quiet BPT, which means you direct your struggles more inward so others don't notice. A lot of my episodes are internalized and are masked. Okay, thank you for clarifying that, 420. Okay, Starry Girl. Basically, when they're younger, old therapist used the hypnotherapy to separate our host from her body out here. Okay, wait. Therapist used to separate our host from her body out here. She had no form, so robot form was made in her place. It's on. Okay, no, though, we can see where you're going with that. Basically, her herself is a robot form inside. She didn't know it until recently. That sounds a lot like depersonalization, I believe. There's derealization and depersonalization. I think it's depersonalization where you feel like a robot, like you're just an empty shell, as it were. Sorry, the brain is not clicking at its normal speed today because we felt like crap from yesterday, and we're still kind of lingering a little bit on that. So yeah, forgive us if we're a little scatterbrained. Caden, or you started the fire, just put the fire out, but without water, good luck, bye. Yeah, that's essentially it. Using the dissociation as a weapon, you can say. As a protection, yes, but we know it, and we actually know what you're saying about a protection becoming a weapon, because if you push people away, and then this turns out to be a bad thing later on, if you push them away, then you can't get or ask for the help that you need. But yeah, it's a protective and a defensive measure at the same time. So yeah, we totally get what you're saying there. Ellie, grease fire with water. Yeah, that's basically it. Questionably moral. That's good and wrong treatment. Yeah, definitely. Wow, we're actually caught up here, doing pretty well. What is this notification? Yeah, check it later. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, well, we're doing pretty well here, and we are caught up. Questions for us? Actually, I believe we were. No, we're caught up there. Very much questionable to use to keep our host from feeling much of the trauma. Yeah. Beastrap, home safe. Your room was awesome. So glad you have a dedicated space. That must be a relief. Yeah, it is. It's also a little scary because this end of the house has always been for the kids. Really, as adults, we haven't really come here, privacy and everything like that. So we're not used to being on this end of the house. Our bedroom is basically our safe space, and we're kind of in there a lot. So coming over to this end of the house has been a little weird, and we're having to adjust things. Hopefully we're planning on having this, hoping that we can make this a play area for the littles where they'll feel comfortable enough to come out and play in here, so that we don't have to worry about somebody walking in or them getting triggered or something. But by the same token, we've still got a couple of of kids close proximity, so we'll see. But we've got the studio, and a place to film so that we're not impinging on other folks. So yeah, it's nice. Thank you. And yeah, we were scouring the house for knickknacks, and it's like, oh God, we've had so many things happen. We just don't really have many knickknacks left. So, but we did manage to pull out what we could. These chess pieces actually were from an old Staunton chess set that we had when we were 12, I think. That we've literally just kept in a bag and kept for all these years, and we were going through the cupboard, so we pulled them out. I was like, oh wow, we forgot about these. We'll put those up, kind of a yin yang symbology type of a thing. Okay, so let's see, where were we? So yes, thank you, B-Strap. Yes. Okay, this will be the verse. Do you know any ways to deal with depersonalization? I found grounding to the physical sensations, the body, time, etc. room, also vlogging and watching them back a bit, but it's still so goddamn exhaustingly constant that I feel like I'm avoiding and have zero feelings of present self-image or reality about anything that is a tool to help is appreciated. Jeez. Generally, when that hits us, we're pretty far down the dissociation rabbit hole. There are some days when we just get slammed with both of them. We've noticed that we tend to read specific books or familiar books from early in life, in particular trauma times, and we will also watch particular movies that can help regulate and try to bring us back to this reality, as it were, because to be dead honest, there are times when we're flitting between 3 or 4 different realities and perceptions of time at the same time, and it really hurts. It's like 2 days ago, we didn't know who was up front. It's like we kept flitting in and out, and we weren't even sure. It's like we were making talking to our wife at one point, and we made a comment in the course of conversation, and all of a sudden it's like, who made that? Who the hell just said that? And didn't know. And that can just be so frustrating. But generally, when we get the derealization, we have pulled back and we're watching. Our life is a movie screen. It's a live action movie in a cinemaplex, and we're just sitting there in the seat somewhere over here. And but it's the damnedest thing, because it's like just being an empty shell. It's there's nothing there. The wind can just go right through it. And we've been wondering, it's like, what happens? Are we just flitting in and out? Or it's like when we're sick, are they just hiding in the headspace? What exactly is going on? So that's one of the things we've been trying to pin down and try to figure out. So I'm not sure we can really give you any tips other than just your comfort things. Like with us, it's specific books, specific things from specific times, specific movies that evoke a positive emotional response. It's like, for example, there's some movies that we just simply can't watch unless we're in a particular mood. Like the other night, we watched The Last Unicorn again, and we have to be in a very particular mood to watch that. Because it leaves us with this feeling of melancholy is the best way to put it, but it's a very complicated emotion, feeling. So I guess those would be our tips. Maybe Roses has got some for you. Hello, Roses. Okay, there we go. Right on time. So yeah, Roses is going to give you some good tips here. Those are ours. I'm sure that, that they have for you. So let's see here. Okay, so we deal with the depersonalization. Yeah. Okay, well, okay, Ellie's saying, oh, is it a DID thing to constantly be steered by notifications and visuals catching the eye? Yeah, actually, that's a natural thing for humans anyway. Our movement, our eyesight and our attention is based off of movement because we're a predator species. Well, yes, we're omnivores, but We still got the predator, the lizard brain thing, and our visual acuity is directed to movement. Think the Tyrannosaurus in Jurassic Park, except if you stand still with us, you don't vanish. Although actually archaeologists are saying that might not actually be accurate. Okay, data, this dinosaurs, not right now. So yeah, shinies is what we call them. Oh, shiny. Something will literally catch your attention or somebody inside's attention. This happens to us a lot at the store and around the toy aisle. All of a sudden, Christopher will be like, ooh, Play-Doh or something like that. Although more recently, it's been Susie coming out and I want this. She's much more forceful than Christopher in expressing herself. Most of the time, she seems fairly content to kind of hang in the background, and I guess they play together. Not really sure, because that's Arielana territory off in the glade, and we don't poke in there without her permission. And yeah, so most of the time she's doing that. She kind of took over care of the littles from Rosemary, and Rosemary has moved more into a caretaker for the adult alters, where it's welcome. It's like she cares for or about Mimi, but Mimi's kind of like, yeah, girl, I don't need your advice, you old bag, blah 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 blah. It's what? It's true. It's what you said before your argument that you still won't tell us what the hell it's about. So just sorry. And if we had a thought, we just lost it because shiny objects, literally right there. Somebody notices something. So yes, absolutely. I imagine that it's also common for most folks, but DID probably exacerbates it a great deal. That's actually kind of one of the more frustrating things for us right now, just between all of us and the lamppost, is that there are a lot of things that we experience that we'll share with our wife, or she'll say something, and like, I can't think of an instance off the top of my head, but she'll say something like, "Oh, welcome to our world," and she'll be like, "Well, no, that happens to normal people too," and it's kind of like, we didn't say that it was particular to DMV or to DID. We're just simply saying this is something that we experience that is endemic to the part of the conversation. But that's when we get into our defenses are immediately up, and we've really kind of had to learn to. And this comes back to the perspective thing. What goes on up here and what we perceive as a comment having like an ulterior motivation or something, there must be something hidden behind it. Where's the boot? Where's the catch? Has severely impacted our communication over the course of our life, and particularly with our second wife now, because our communication styles differ drastically. Mainly hers is healthy, and ours is based off of years of abuse and emotional manipulation and gaslighting and things like that. So we're always looking for the dagger in the back when there's not one there. And when she doesn't react with an outsized emotional display, it drives us crazy because it's not what we're used to. Case in point example of this is that we realized, actually with our last therapist, and has become more prevalent as we go on, learning to unravel, okay, this is a trauma-based reaction that we're having. Why are we having it, and what can we do to change it? And that first step of realizing that you're having a reaction and that it is trauma-based is a big hurdle in and of itself. So we've had to really pull ourselves back out of that box and go, okay, she loves us. This is not an abuse. She's not saying this to make us feel bad. There is no ulterior motivation. This is just simply, this is the real truth. Okay, she loves us. She's not going to leave us. We don't need to drive things to extremes, which we actually ended up doing in that terrible incident where the family fell apart that we keep alluding to but never really giving you guys details on, or surely we never will. Look, there's a lot of lessons in that incident, even though it's almost 2 years ago now. It's just, it was intensely personal, and like we said, there is a lot of lessons that can be learned from that date. But Case in point, what may seem to be obvious to you is not what's going on. So we've had to untie that whole innate suspicion and looking for the hidden catch and looking for that, because that's all a trauma based reaction. That's how we were raised. If egg donor tells you, oh, well, you know, let's see, she's in the bathroom, and all of a sudden we hear, oh, God damn it, there's no toilet paper. Where's the toilet paper? I got to sit here. And this is our egg donor, okay, not like saying, it's like, oh, there's nothing here, and I'm on the toilet. I can, and it's like, rather than just simply asking us, okay, well, would you get us toilet paper? There's this huge big production, which makes us feel guilty because we were the last person to be in the bathroom, and we apparently used up the last bit of the toilet paper and didn't replace the roll, and then therefore we must now be punished for it, and it's going to become an all-day thing where it's constant emotional abuse over this one thing. This is the way that the patterning goes. And this is, so to us, now, when our wife is in the bathroom and she runs out of toilet paper and she's like, oh shit, this immediately triggers our full-blown, oh my God, she's going to go off, and she's pissed and she's angry, and we've done wrong and we're guilty, and now we're sorry, we're so sorry. You see how the cycle goes, and the next thing you know, we're into the guilt, shame, blame cycle, and around and around and around we go. So all of these trauma-based reactions are influencing current events, and there goes our tablet and our train of thought as well. We hope to hell that we guys are getting something out of this today, because we're all over the place. All right, so let's see here. After more rambling along, okay, let's see here. We're going to catch up here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to scroll back. And there's Cat again. Well, come on. What? What? Well, you're inside now. What, you want a cat bomb the audience? All right. Colby T. Culberton. What you doing, buddy? What you doing? Say, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Yeah. Except instead of laying on the casting couch, you'd be scratching it to pieces. Meow. What you shoot a boy. All right. Boop-a-doop. What? All right, but don't climb on the shelves. Those are not sturdy enough to hold you. All right, lay down and be a good cat. Meow. Oh, okay. Apparently we got cut off here. Okay. Okay, sorry guys, I got distracted there. Let's see here. No, you may not walk on top of the shelves. I know they're new. I know you want to walk on them because cats in high places, but that's not going to help. Okay, Ellie's saying that they, sheesh, okay, we are behind, sorry, okay. Well, that's something that, did that. Okay, Blue Rose is saying, I have a hard time being in the body. A lot of times icky body memories will surface, but we would very much like to be able to do yoga or something. Any thoughts or ideas? Yes, the Qigong routine that we use, we linked in our last live stream. We'll try to remember later to link it again. It is very effective for that. We've begun using that to resettle ourselves before it gets that bad, actually. So check that out. It's real easy to do breath, body, mind movements and things like that, but it really does help. I mean, just the basic exercises. You visualize a ball of energy and you're bringing your hands up and breathing in, push down as you exhale, and you're just visualizing. You'll feel/visualize the energy. It's tough to explain, since it's all basic mental exercise and construct anyway, tied to your breath. But it shuts the brain off essentially, because you're focusing on the movement and the breath, and you fall into this Zen state, I guess. Not quite. Anyway, yes, Qigong works well. Where are you going? Okay, so where are you going? Where are you going? Yes. Are you actually going to sit on my lap for a change? Or you just want to shove your butt in my face? Huh? Okay. Sleep depersonalization off laying down. Nothing else really helps that the doctor has given. Ellie's saying, yeah, that's another way to do it, but we always wake up so muzzy-headed. Caffeine does not help that, not for us. Okay, so we already covered the body memories. Music, yes, music can be very grounding. We use music to manipulate our emotional moods to bring us out or put us into a particular type of mood. If the door is open, you can go out anytime you want. So yeah, Caden, absolutely. With the music there, grounding tools to use now. Okay, Ellie's talking about the shinies. For us, it's things that start moving fast and we can just watch and not move. Then awareness hits and we freak out, and then awareness going away. I'm thinking we're dreaming, then freak out again. Yeah, the dream within a dream thing. That's a fun one too. Just wait until you start dreaming your alter's dreams, or they all decide to show up in your dreams, and all of a sudden you're all together there, and it's like, oh, this is weird. So yeah, okay, let's see here. Yeah, films, books, and things. A lot of passive influence, possible micro switches. Yeah, micro switch. I like that. That's a good term, or we like that. So who's going to sing the aromatherapy song with you? Yes. Let's see, 420 Witch. There are particular movies that stir up hard to explain feelings that I can only watch when I'm in a particular headspace. Yes, absolutely. This be the versus saying, recently we found co-fronting helps a lot to ground because we like being next to each other, so one person can catch the other drifting, and it's intrinsically motivating to want to be able to near each. Yeah. Yay, we're all stuck together all the time, so gives a strong motivation and an anchor to kind of pull yourselves back with. Yeah, excellent, good technique there. Bleeding amorphously into the room, yeah. There's some trauma-informed body movement yoga guides online too. Yeah. We can't do things like body scan meditations. So we pick carefully. You may benefit from those kinds of things too. Yeah, we actually hadn't even heard of the body scan stuff, Caden, until one of our, we bought a VR relaxation program called Visitations, which sounds like an alien abduction type of thing, but it's not. It's actually a virtual reality relaxation program where it uses binaural beats that are linked to visual images, like with the old mind machines and whatnot. So hypnotic patterns and binaural beats and various landscapes. And one of the pre-programmed things there, they have some pre-programmed relaxation things that are narrated. One of them was a 15-minute body scan, and we'd never heard of that before. And as we're getting into it, we suddenly realized that what this was is what we used to do around 10 or 11 years old, and even further back as a kid, before we would go to sleep. And this might actually well be tied into our dissociation and putting ourselves bye-bye, so that when abuser came into the room, we weren't really there, but we would start at our toes and try to move each individual muscle and work our way up and things like that. So it turned out that we were kind of doing the whole body scan thing anyway, but that whole feel of the space and between your lungs and stuff like it, it's kind of like, okay, not sure I really want to do that, but hey, so yeah, that's our experience with body scan. But it's a neat program. It really is. There's this one where it's called Caressed by Flowers, and it's literally these giant flowers that come at you and whoosh by you, whoosh through the middle of the flower and everything. It's really is really cool and relaxing. And there goes the door. So, yes, Roses is singing the aromatherapy song. Let's go to the DMV. No, no. Certain places are portals to hell. DMVs, doctors' offices, hospital waiting rooms. Yeah, Social Security offices. Okay, believing is such a constant vibe. Yes, also try to get the body to send us signals. Any signals like exercise, strong taste. Basically, that's a double-edged sword because discomfort is difficult to stay in the body with. Yeah. Ellie's saying they've been talking with a friend about how controlling stepdad was, and they are saying it's related to ritual abuse. Oh, Caden. Okay, sorry. Blue Rose is saying, Caden, thank you for the suggestion. Sadly, it doesn't help either. It's just the second we try to be in the body, feel the body, we get hijacked by the body memories. Yeah, the body memories. We've warned you, they're intense. They're nasty. And there's really not much you can do except ride them out and try to divert, like what you're doing. The Qigong and the breath body movement, yoga or something like that. It really does help with those. But it's a fight. It's a fight. It's like trying to ignore a bee that's crawling on the back of your neck, and you want to swat it, but you know that if you swat it, it's not going to do a damn thing because there's no bee there, at least not now. Okay, Ellie's saying, oh yeah, trauma-based reactions. We assume so much without asking boyfriend, so we just go along with what we think, and then boyfriend feels hurt for me not saying something. Yeah. Oh, damn it. It went back to top chat instead of live chat. No wonder we're not seeing everything. Sorry. Okay, so now we're going to have to go back. Okay, I see here. Okay, we're not as bad as we thought. Roses is saying to Blue Rose, try going for walks when you're having a body memory. Which is a good idea. Science says that just getting outside and taking a short walk helps to regulate your brain. Maldwin, hello. We're just enjoying the live stream in the chatter. Sorry for being so quiet. Don't apologize for being quiet. Participation is not required. You guys know this. Let's see. Yeah, Ellie, it's all my fault. You shouldn't date me. I'm just chaos. You don't like me. I hurt you. So many trauma responses to just feeling like he's going to abandon me for messing up. Yes. That constant fear that you are going to be, that they're going to leave, that they're going to leave you when you need them so very much, but you're afraid. We talk about this in one of the videos, and we think, I believe it's the Learning to Love Again, where we're talking about you get caught in this circle that you're just describing now because of the trauma. It's this tremendous contradiction of, I'm afraid of you. You're going to abuse me. Leave me alone. Don't touch me. Stay back. You could be a threat. Versus touch me, hold me, hug me. Please, I need your touch. I need your affection. I mean, like worse than a plant needs water to grow. But you're so afraid of it because the trauma has made as instilled that knee-jerk reaction. People are not safe, so yeah, it can make maintaining a healthy relationship very challenging. So we hard mood there, and not uncommon. You got to work, and that's where we've been at. Okay, why am I reacting this way? Is this a trauma-based reaction? Which like 99.9% of them are. Okay, yeah, now what can we do? So we feel you. Okay, oh, an order certificate. Yeah. Okay, here's where the cat came in. Cat says like shells, yes. This be the verse. We always get a lot out of your streams, with or without helpful information existing in the community that you create space for, and help to create is so soothing and reassuring. Also, the info helps. Good, glad. Thank you very much. This be the verse. Although we want to clarify, it's you guys who are creating the community. We're just standing behind the camera, spouting what scientific knowledge data digs up and our direct experiences. So it's actually you guys who are doing the heavy lifting here. We're just providing the room for it, I guess. So don't diminish you, but thank you. So we won't diminish ourselves either. Double-edged sword. But it's like, can't remember the name off the top of our head. Uh, damn. Anyway, he DM'd us privately saying thank you very much. I wouldn't be, where we're at in our journey if it weren't for you and your content, your channel. And we're like, thank you. We're humbled. We appreciate that. But you're the one who was doing all the work. So while don't give us credit for something that we're not due. You guys are the ones working it out. You're the ones doing the day to day. We're just forum, as it were. But thank you. We're being self-demeaning again. So we're just going to get right back to the chat rather than display our own inbred trauma responses. Hey, or ingrained, not inbred. Okay, let's see here. I know that we are did this. Okay, no, we're back on live chat. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Blue Rose saying, okay, walking, yes. This will be the verse, but I mean, we will get a ton out of your streams, whatever your brain state is, and you can show up however you are, and it's just as awesome to be here. Thank you. Ellie's saying, oh, blackouts is actually what the medical says with us. I usually can't remember the day before, but it's after I sleep. Even then, I can barely remember an hour ago. It's like it's being deleted. Is that a blackout? I don't know. If you could classify that, I would suppose yes. To us, that sounds more like thought withdrawal, which is the other side of passive influence. There's passive and active. We go through it on our video on passive influence. We explain how it affects the five senses, and that sounds an awful lot like that's what's going on. And that is a defensive mechanism. Again, everything in a DID system is geared towards basically protecting the system against further abuse. Except for the trauma patterns that we've got, which screws up. Music makes us, but now see, for us, a blackout is a total gone. It's like the one that we keep referencing, but it's a great reference, is the day that in therapy, Christopher relived the trauma with Jenny and Jane. And after therapy, even though that we were self-caring and everything, later, about 3 or 4 hours afterwards, we were on the porch and it was too much. I could not deal with it and checked out, apparently, because the next thing I know, it's 2 days later and we're sitting in our therapist's office with our wife, and the therapist is going, Chris, Chris, are you in there? Can I come in? And it's like, and it was just like that. It was like a door shutting and opening, like flipping off a light switch. So for us, and that's not the first time that it's happened. That's just a good instance for you. We will lose days, or a day, 15 minutes to a day. It happens to us all the time. We can't tell what day of the week it is because we are absolutely convinced that it's Friday when in fact it's, Saturday or Sunday, and we've suddenly it's like, who was in front, who was dealing with it? We know that we did stuff, but we can't remember. So yeah, for us, that's a blackout, a time loss, or what we would classify as a blackout, but purely speaking for us on the more extreme end of the spectrum, which again is one of the defining characteristics of being diagnosed with DID, are those repeated blackouts or missing time. And it ain't just aliens, neither. Okay. Let's see here. Ellie's saying music makes us blendy, though it does shift the mood. Yeah, it works great for us. Focusing on the breath really doesn't help. It is a big trauma trigger. We can't just, we're going to read between the lines, and we know exactly what you mean there. Because, we had some do this and you can breathe type things done to us. So yeah, we feel you if that's where you're going on those. Caden saying having dreams that are from other headmates is weird. Oh my god, yes. Alter dreams give us GBs too real for me. Yeah, man, the first time we had one was just wow. So I feel you there, E-White. Let's see. Ellie's saying I'd like to meet the alters in a dream and actually have a good conversation outside feeling I am in control. See if you can set it up. It may just be as simple as saying. I mean, who knows? Okay, Blue Rose. Sorry, I just had a little thing up there. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this week they were saying dream sharing is so wild. Love it. Sometimes we co-front the same as out here, but in each other's dreams. Is it? Yeah, what you're describing. Yes, this week there was. I think that's one of the coolest things about being at streams in the community, seeing that our normal is actually normal here for others too. For once, yeah, not alone. That's why we keep saying it, because you're not. Will's mom, hello. Hope your stomach's better, not at home. We'll listen to the stream. Makes that be well. No problem. Glad you're home safe. 420 Witch. Okay, talking about scents and stones. Yes. Lava stone bracelets being used to hold essential oils, which is excellent. 420 was just saying, felt that hard for me to meet a partner as well as maintaining the relationship due to the trauma and the responses I have to them do also. Yeah, it's rough. The Blue Rose is talking about smell is the sense they mostly depend on for grounding. Now, see, for us, smell is one of the biggest sources of our triggers. Well, it works. It's not as effective for us as the breath body thing, but to each of us it is different, which is why we all share these different techniques. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. E. White's giving a great example here. I remember once in my early 20s, I was speaking with my now ex-girlfriend, and after some conversation, she started talking about something completely unrelated. I asked her why she brought the new subject up, and she told me I had been talking about it for the last half hour. That was the first time I had ever been aware of a blackout. It was a seamless transition, but I missed a half hour. Yeah, there you go. 5 minutes, couple days. It's random. Talking more about sense. Ellie's saying yes, the breathing thing, or him saying I'm not hurting you. Yeah, that's where we're going to with the breathing thing. Yeah, absolutely. Blue Rose and Ellie, we yeah, we know that one, and we were that was part of okay. We're not going to go into that territory because it's trigger warning, and you guys are we know what it is involved there. So yeah, it's how long can you hold your breath underwater, little boy? So, moving on. Yet not alone feel validated here more than we do in most of the DID community. Cool. Yay for us. All of us. 420 Witch. One time at college during dance class, we had to lay on the floor for breather exercise, and I went too deep inward and burst out crying. Yeah. Mood. Masks give us panic attacks at first because of the breathing thing. Also, used to not being able to ground the body because body memories, those are okay. Ellie's saying, I forget until you had said yes. Sorry, Ellie. But yeah, that's a comment. See, we are, I don't want to say victims, but we are formed by all of these trauma reactions and we don't even realize it. It's just, I mean, one of the most frustrating things for us is we'll run across yet another thing that's trauma-based. Okay, we're having a trauma-based reaction. Why are we? Because this happened. And it's like, is there not one fucking part of my life that has not been touched or influenced by the trauma? Was my childhood, did I not have anything that was not trauma-based or wasn't touched? Or it's just, it's frustrating in the extreme. Ellie's saying the whole world is just reactions and no happiness. There is happiness, and here's the thing, this is something we've been working on as well. We were taught that that's bad. Okay, if you're being happy, you're being selfish. or if you want this toy or something, or that's you're being selfish. That's a bad thing. Um, there is happiness out there, but you have to. This sounds so cliche in cat poster territory here, but you have to make it for yourself. It has to be a conscious decision because we are constantly fighting against the trauma programming. And this is why this part of the processing it and untangling those trauma reactions is so important, because it's only then that you have the perspective to realize I deserve to be happy. I deserve to feel good about myself. I deserve to say you're welcome when somebody thanks me for something, that it's not insincere, that they're just going, oh well, thanks, and you're expecting something behind it. Untying that is a challenge. It's a lifelong challenge, or at least it will be for us, no doubt. We're not saying for everybody, but yeah, it's finding happiness is tough, and experiencing it is also even more tough because you're expecting it to end. You can't let your guard down. Or you won't, because the trauma is always there. You're always thinking, okay, I'm feeling happy. I'm going to pay for this. Something is going to happen to me. I'm going to have to pay for this some way or shape or form. And it keeps you from experiencing that in the moment. And it's frustrating for us, because if we had realized this, if we had known we were a system ages and ages and ages ago, we would have been able to make much better use of our time, which is the one commodity that none of us can afford to waste. Trust me. You want advice from a 50-year-old? Time. Don't waste it. Because everything else, you can beg, borrow, buy, steal, whatever, but you can't get time back. So it's a constant battle to let down your guard and to go, okay, it's okay for me to be happy. This is weird. I don't know how to react to it. It's literally somebody gives you a compliment and you're all, thanks, because it makes you profoundly uncomfortable, because this is something that was not part of your everyday experience. Abusers don't walk up to you and go, oh well, thank you for doing this, and be sincere about it. It's just simply a prelude to another manipulation session. And those of you who have been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's tough to let yourself be happy, honestly, truly, and there are a small handful of spots in our life that we can truly say that we were happy before we found out we were a system, and every one of those moments we've treasured, and treasure them even more now. So we get to what you're saying there. So I guess just allow yourself the possibility that you do deserve to be happy, because you do. Everyone deserves to be happy. Except maybe our abusers, who can rot in hell feeling unhappy and alone for the rest of their lives, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry. Bitter. Obviously, we got anger issues to work out. Okay, so yes, Ellie, hopefully that will help you a little bit. Okay, Caden saying gotta go do stuff with hubby, but it was great being here. We'll enjoy interacting with you guys. Hope you have a good night. You too, Caden. Thanks for stopping in. Be safe out there. Self-care. Let's see here. Ellie saying, yes, happiness is selfish. We've been told that so much. Yeah, they get you right off the bat, don't they? That is such a mood. Is there any part of our lives, reactions, emotions, assumptions, freaking anything that isn't interlaced with goddamn trauma? Yes. Hard mood. God. Jocelyn, okay, good night to everybody. Okay, Ellie saying, boyfriend gave us some money this month and said we can use it for whatever, but make it last for a month. I want to spend it all now, but since he said keep it for a month, I will just not spend it. No, he gave it to you so that you can spend it on something to make yourself happy. He's not saying hoard it. He's just simply saying, this is all I can give you right now. This is where we can get tripped up, is you're getting caught in the, oh my God, he gave me something, I don't know what to do with it because this is not right, because I don't deserve this, versus, okay, you immediately fall into the, oh, well, he said that's all for this month, so I have to save it up because there might be something X that's more important. We might need a gallon of milk or something like that, or a small bill or something unexpected, and that's more important, or maybe he might need something, and that would be a better use of that money. That's more important than me and my needs, because we weren't taught that. So you get caught in that loop. It's like we suffer with this one ourselves, because it's it's so foreign, and literally having to going into the store and saying, okay, I'd kind of like to have this, and then actually getting it, you feel guilty, or at least we feel guilty about it, and we get it back home, and then we have the inevitable war of, oh, we should just take this back. We shouldn't have done this. This is not right. We don't feel good about this. Let's just take it back and forget this ever happened. And we literally have to force ourselves. It's like, no, it's you have to almost force yourself to go, I'm worth this, despite everything else that you were told. So, you see what we're saying there? But yay on your boyfriend. Good for him. She said, it's not what he's trying to teach to make me feel that way. Yeah, exactly. EY, I'm going to have to pay for this. That is real as all hell. Always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yep. Yeah, and they will deliberately keep you in that suspense to maintain that cycle. They will literally keep you on the edge. So that's a deliberate thing. Yeah. Control. Yeah, Sally's saying, part of me just wants to sleep until life is over. Don't interact with the world because it hurts. Mood. Hard mood. Yes. Yeah, everybody's saying I'm going to have to pay for this mood. Yeah, absolutely. Blue Rose saying, we hope you all don't mind, but we also find sort of a little happiness here. Just knowing we're not alone gives us a little relief. Thank you. Good. Good. Dragons, all of us just want to sleep, but we have to take care of our dog or we wouldn't get out of bed. We get that, Ellie. Yeah. And sometimes just having, it's like that. There's another reason we have cats is because it gives you a reason to do that. Another being relies upon you, so you have to. It can serve as a carrot and a stick type arrangement. So yeah, we get you there. Totally. Okay. Yeah, dragons, absolutely. Okay, this be the verse. I think your anger is totally justified. Not anger issues. They can rot and burn in hell like all abusers as far as we're concerned. Yeah. Ellie's saying the deserve part is what he's trying to help with. Yes. See, your boyfriend gets it, so it's okay. Go out and treat yourself. It's all right. Feels weird as hell, but it's okay. You're not going to be punished for it. Hello, Five. You're coming in at the end. You always seem to come in right when we're going to wrap up the stream. But we are glad to see you as always. We hope that you're doing well. We saw your latest videos. You're digging into some of the darker stuff there. Good for you. Definitely for sure. But you've always got our support for that. Holy hell, just got home after a 5-day drive from Kentucky to the Pacific Northwest. Woof, that is a drive. We've done some long distance ones ourselves, but damn. Okay, and just while we're on that, Texas. We hate driving through Texas. The state is boring, it's flat, and it goes on and on and on and on. Oh my God. Sorry, minor right. So yes, that's a hell of a drive. Okay, do my ducks yell until I get up and let them out? Yep, absolutely. It's very long. Yeah, absolutely. 3:12. Yeah, unfortunately. We are going to have to close it out here. We'll let it run to about 3:30, just because. Why are you doing that? Okay, fly flat and straight like Nebraska. And we switch back to Kansas. Yeah, oh, sorry, the field of reeds. Yeah. Having driven through Kansas on occasion, too, it's like, oh my God, flat. Boring. Oh no, Ellie says, we're in Texas. Took 15 hours to get to the bottom from Oklahoma, all in one drive, too, with stops, of course. Oh, yes, Wyoming. Yeah, there is another one. Ellie's saying they found out they're dissociating while driving, and after 2 hours, we felt like we were dreaming, but had to switch with boyfriend. Yeah, we've noticed that too, but we're always, you kind of fall into this zone, as it were. It's like, for us, it's music. We always do a driving mix, or, well, we used to. Oh, yeah, okay, just got the battery power warning. We're at 10%, so it's going to shut down whether we want to or not. So we will. My friend, we thought driving across Washington was boring. That's way shorter. We couldn't handle a drive that long. Yeah, we did a long drive to Mississippi once from where we're at, and it took us a good 21 hours, and we pulled it through straight. And we should not have. We were starting to veer off the road a little bit when we decided to pull over to a rest stop, and that's it, because we were falling asleep at the wheel with our two kids in the car at the time. So that was not a good thing. But so yeah, long distance drives. Okay, taking the road trip, visiting the States soon to spend some time with a few system I'm friends with. Excellent. Have fun with the road trip. Um, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, we're gonna have to shut it down, guys. Sorry, but the battery is dying. Kind of emotional. Want to cry? I'm certain line. Totally fine. I swear it's okay. Just self care, Ellie. Um, Talking about these things can kind of offset us. So we are going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you guys for, as always, showing up on the stream, the great information, supporting each other. That's the main thing, and everybody sharing their bits and their experiences and their tips and tidbits. It's great. Thank you guys so very much for helping to support us and watching and spreading word of the channel around. We appreciate you doing that. And as always, we remind you guys, say it with us, you're loved, you're strong, and you're not alone. All right, guys, Chris and whoever the hell else is up front right now, maybe kind of mishmash. We'll catch you on this flip side, guys. All right, bye.